Okay, this is so very much important for me because it's going to be important for every one of you. And it's probably why my blog was taken down today anyways. My news site was taken probably down because of this news. Of course, I'm talking about Auser times. I believe, look, that the main reason why the blog was taken down was because of my economical plan, which I have designed. Very carefully I have contemplated things based on facts, based on everything I have seen and experienced throughout my lifetime, would be beneficial for the white community worldwide. And it's probably why the blog, news site was taken down, the Auser Times. And so it's very much, it's easy to understand, okay, how things have developed. I was very clear what is taking place in America. They try to brainwash me severely to, disregard any of the issues that I have mentioned here on my news site. And every one of these issues, they are so important issues. They are just really, really so important issues. I firmly believe and I firmly stand in favor of brotherhood with Russia, firmly with other white nations, because I deem that is crucial for us to, much more than just to coexist. We have a very special relation, and we are from the same family. We are from completely same family, and there is so much we can offer to one another. One of the things that we can offer to one another basically is survival. I deem that we cannot survive without Russia, and Russia definitely cannot survive without us. And so this is the plan I have designed. You may want to read, think about how things are. To really know what's going on would be, if you are concerned about things, then you should come to Belarus, or you should go to Russia and see people. For me, the main thing are people. And I also did post it here on my websites. Fact that through the forced unemployment, if you like, so-called free speech, or if you want to call one hate speech, whatever you want to call one, incitement of our people in the United States into hatred, into anger, to compel them to behave irrationally, in criminal ways, display insanity instead of competence, and be depicted as such within the society. So-called Nazis, of course, I'm talking about, which are, of course, also used by Israel to expand, if you like, the purification, a genocide against Palestinian people within what used to be Palestine, but now is Israel, while at the same time are preaching us about tolerance towards other races and so on. A fact that through the forced unemployment, about probably more than 250 million whites perished. And it was all for the sake of the human rights. For the sake of the human rights that are used. I probably don't have to repeat and explain myself, to get state of Israel going, and to get white genocide going, to forcefully inject in our societies, in our cultures, other races and so on. So that's basically what that's all about, the human rights and why the human rights and so on. You can't get 6 million story going without Nazis, basically, is what this is all about. And this very issue, some people, since they got very upset with me, the people that, really my blog was suspended, as you are about to see, and it seems like that, things the way I have analyzed, things the way I have done, obviously have very much differed from views that certain groups, certain elites would want me to represent. And so they have taken one down for various reasons. One of the reasons, obviously, I already have suggested. It totally counters their ideology, Zionism. Zionist fascism is what this is. And another big reason is, and this is where the problem is, this biggest problem, but I don't think it's going to be really a problem, is the fact that people involved in this so-called white movement, are not doing their job at all. They are lying. They are lying to public. They are lying to other people. They are misrepresenting facts. They are misrepresenting things. And of course, I have on my mind not only the European Union politicians, that are trying to present Israel as, also it's the same in the United States as the place where, white culture is being introduced in that area, and so forth. We should just go and we should just comply and tolerate and help Israel to go on with it. This is how basically they brainwash people. Fact of the matter here is that at the same time, parallel to what I have stated and what these agencies, underground government agencies, subversive agents are omitting, are not disclosing to the public, is fact that simultaneously with this, severe white genocide is taking place throughout the United States and Europe. I mean, look, if white culture would be expanding throughout Israel, and we would benefit from one, and at the same time our people in the US and throughout the European Union would have the right to the freedom of the speech, this would not be a problem at all. This would not be a conflict at all. But I have to remind you, Israel was not built through fairness, through the fair game, through collaboration, cooperation with other white people, but it was built parasitically. It was built on forced unemployment, on violence, on brutality, on MK Ultra. This is basically what Israel was built by. And like I have stated, for every person that is non-white that you see, there was other white person that was compelled into unemployment, or generations of within that family of people that have suffered. So they have forcefully introduced, not going to say other culture, but other races in our societies to destroy us, to kill us. And it thing went on as far as to up very today, which is June the 22nd of 2017, Israel's ability to hush the truth about the South African whites, South African white genocide. This is how successful they were, and they were successful because of the, because of the things I have stated, because of these government agents, because of the politicians and lies they have, misinterpreted to the public. So we got completely conflict, paradox situation, totally counterproductive situation that is suggesting us totally opposite of what basically we were told. And because I know these things, because this is what I was told, how good Israel is and how good it's going to be and this and that. It's a lie. It's not the truth. And I believed lie until I tasted one on my own skin. And so, these people, this John McCain and other people that, in this process, they have counted on my taking blindishly their side into the grave. At one point or another, somehow, probably they would get rid of me some way, somehow. It was not for so much publicity, and other people involved in this case I would be missing already a long time ago. Free speech in America is dead, and it's dead thanks to Israel. Israel have hands covered with blood of whites. Not if white genocide is real. It's a fact, and it's bloody spot right there on the map where used to be a Lebanon, and it's bad for the Lebanese people. What was done was much worse done to the white people, more than real. Go to the US, drive a little bit throughout the US. I drove throughout the US and have seen white people along the highways, along how they Germans, Scandinavian people, formers of in the industrial world, Anglo-Saxons and so on. Today they are in shacks, unemployed, and the governments ran drug cartels through those totally failed settlements, villages to which they are subject to. So now, just because there is few people that want to have it their way, because of the jobs, because of whatever issues, we can not afford ourselves, for our race to completely fail, to completely be destroyed entirely, so they can have it their way, so they can have the money, the elites that control our societies, Western societies. We cannot control this. We cannot allow these things. We don't know really for facts if, how and, things, mechanisms truly work in the U.S., how deeply, and rooted are these elite societies, not only the U.S., but throughout the West. They are truly unrecognizable. This is I would say this is the art of illusion. They are embedded, regular people with private owners, and then it goes all the way up to this, biggest, highest elites with one another so much that the only way to ensure that the part of the world known today as Russia and Belarus, and for that matter it should be the case also with other countries. I encourage all the countries, Eastern European countries and other countries worldwide, to take the stance toward complete independence. The right to exercise your language, the right to exercise your culture, your folklore is very important. Your independence, no, it is much more than what only matters. Okay, I would not be talking to you about these things today if it was not for the Red Army in 1940, 1941, 1945, and today in 2017 and in 2016 and so on and so forth. I would not be talking to you about these things if US corporations would take over with corruption this part of the world. If they would bring one down to its knees, you never ever would hear about this plan. The only thing is what you would know is that you don't know a lot. That's the only thing you would know. The only thing that you would continue would watch basically helplessly changes that are taking place within your environments. So do I praise the independence of Russia? Do I praise independence of other countries that are willing to be independent and invest in the white race? Of course I do. It is extremely, extremely important. And if you really want to contribute, if you're really interested in this type of culture, I don't see how you would have a problem investing technology, providing country like this with technology, and in return have ability to open, let's say, free transfer flux of the people, that you would ensure that, people, simply intermarry, exchange between Russia, between the US, Western Europe, would automatically, and I mean automatically, remove all the conflicts in the area, anywhere from Ukraine to the Baltic states and other areas, because such conflicts that we witness today would no longer serve any purpose. So you want to think about all these things, why I have created this kind of plan. This kind of plan works, and it assures that many things. It assures the brotherhood, it assures that we, as I have mentioned, not only would be deriving from the same family tree, but would become connected more and more with one another. And secondary, it removes the threat which Israel have injected in our society, even to self-annihilate one another. So there are many, many reasons to see it this way. Russia is not a problem. Russia rather is solution. And so many things are factually suggesting that this is the route, this is the way to go. This simply is the way to do it. Language barrier is the smallest thing that that is on the way. Russia is a huge country. It's about twice as big as the US. You can imagine what kind of potential, what kind of jobs could be offered to people to get them there, to, for them to establish Russian society with mixed marriages and so on. For those people that are simply willing to live by the Russian law, by to speak Russian language, and at the same time give the opportunity also to Russian people to go, to our countries and intermarry and so on. It's a huge step forward, not backwards. That's why this plan is so daring, because there's nothing dirty about these things. It's good for everybody. It's so important that Russia keeps its independence from elites, from the Rothschilds, from the corruption, from the slavery that we are actually experiencing, no longer only in the US but throughout entire Europe. This is why such plan. It all works. It definitely all works. I have seen the world, I have seen US, Europe, and I have seen this part of the world and other parts of Eastern Europe. They're beautiful. It's actually, if I step out of this John McCain cluster, this Netanyahu cluster, it's quite strange, for me. If I look from another perspective, to believe that we are involved, in conflicts, in mutual conflicts with one another that truly do not serve anything else other than purpose of self-destruction. That's all there is to it. Technology to the Russia, yes. Free money, yes. Borrow money, not. No foreign corporations, no foreign ownership, only Russian ownership. Free flux, free pass, free transfer of people that are willing to commit themselves to any of our countries unconditionally and live by those laws and so on, respect them and live that way. Yes to that. This is just the way it is. We can make the step forward, or we can truly annihilate each other. That's entirely up to the people. Norwegians, Scandinavians that were so much involved, and they were so much excited about these things, and you can see these days they're trying to push Netanyahu's son, into relationship with I don't know, Norwegian. They are trying to desperately make their point. Have lost societies, entire societies in the United States of America. Let me just ask you a question. Where are those Norwegian communities that were settlements, Norwegian settlements, Scandinavian settlements that were, positioned throughout entire USA today? Where are they? And for that matter, German and British and so on, why have those societies decomposed themselves? Well, they say because there was no need for them any longer to exist. And if Jew would tell me this thing, I do believe him. But if a white person would tell me that there is no need anymore to celebrate our culture, then I have to completely disagree with him. Scandinavian model, Norwegian model is truly disgrace for, if you like, pro-white movement. It is extremely weak, and I believe it's also subjected heavily by people like Gustav of Sweden that was involved with Negress, and you're talking about Harald of Norway whose family ran in the Second World War to Britain. I'm not defending the crimes that were done against Norwegian people, not at all. But what I'm trying to say is that we cannot live in the past if we want to go to the future. We cannot lock ourselves in the past if we want to make the step forward. So it's a failed combination. It's a failed architecture. It was a test, but that test was extremely costly, and that test with Israel have failed entirely. Elites have expanded, corruption have expanded throughout the US, European Union, and worldwide, and it's no longer under control. For that matter, I commend European people, European Union people, European Union states to take control over their destiny, to raise their own voices toward politicians. If you're not going to remove them and then demand fairness from these people, I don't know what to tell you. Every one of you is responsible for your own destiny. But this is a big choice you can make. You can use Russia not only as a counter weapon against expansion of Zionism, against fascist Zionism expansion that is taking place throughout the United States and also European Union, but you can also use one as a counter weapon, as a balancer, to open the free speech for our American people, which today is prohibited in America. So there are many, many ways to go along with Russia. There are many, many ways to say yes to Russia on every field. I love Russia. I love Russian people. I love it here. It's very beautiful, Belarus. So this is the way I see things, and I hope you will see things like this too. These are big things. This is a big architecture. These are not small things, but on the long run, for our race, these are things that bring us all together forward in the future. Same standards that are today in the US and throughout the European Union, also for the Russian people. The unemployment of the young people that are suffering, young people today throughout the US and European Union, to be resolved with Russia. Support of Russia, give support to Russia and get support from Russia. Use one another to advance and not to divide and conquer, be divided and conquered by Jews, by elites, by Zionist fascists and corrupt politicians and so on. Help one another. You're going to help and you're going to get help. This is how things work. We are from the same family, and I hope you guys realize these things. Looks like they have taken my blog down. That's basically what it looks like. Takes too long to respond. It's June 22nd of 2017.